Welcome back, you filthy exiles. Obviously it's Endless Delve tomorrow. Now, I unfortunately am unable to take time off work, which sucks because I'm super keen for this one. Obviously, Delve is one of my sort of foundations to the things that I love about PoE. Anyway, this is the tree that I'm going to be rolling out tomorrow. So everybody's been asking me, oh, Jorgen, what are you playing? I'm going to be playing a Vortex Occultist. It's going to be a health-based Occultist, at least in starting. And the way that I'm going to do this is fundamentally with this tree. Now, I'll talk very briefly about the nodes I'll be targeting first. Mainly, it'll be going down to pick up glancing blows as soon as I possibly can. But anyway, let's get into this one. So, gear-wise, you're going to start with Remnant of Empires. So, when you first load into Endless Delve with this particular build, and for anyone who's played my Vortex builds, like, they're pretty dope. This one's going to be more so focused around maxing out freeze and then refreezing enemies, which is going to abuse this mastery, which is enemies become chilled as they unfreeze, causing 30% reduced action speed. The whole concept of this build and the reason why it has relatively low or doesn't have any overcap reses at this stage is simply on the basis that we're going to be refreezing enemies really quickly. And also we're running off of entry-level gear from the very start of Endless Delve. Now, the other thing is you'll just need to adjust for the crafted items with resistances. As you can see, that's not hugely sort of upended by the gear that's on these particular items here that are rares. But anyway, so we'll start with Remnant of Empires. That's going to be your first pick. You're going to mule a character before you get into the event. So what you want to do is get Remnant of Empires and you want to get Blood of Summer straight away. Now, leveling up this build, you could go with like Freezing Pulse. You could go with like Icicle Mines, something like that to start off at the very start. The reason for that is you just need something that's going to be able to clear enemies. Ideally, Icicle Mines would actually be really good to start off with this one, even when you get to like a 4-link or something like that. So you can get these first two items on this build. And by the way, this says 223,000. If I was to take it up to level 20, I'd be just basically distorting everything here for everyone. It actually goes up to like 300,000, up to like 400,000 cold dot with about 4,100 life. And 10,000 armor with a pretty janky shield that has no armor and all evasion gear. So this is like plenty of room to move just with this tree. So anyway, you'll start with Blood of the Summer, and you'll start with Remnant of Empires. You're just going to mule one character and get either a Blood of the Summer or Remnant of Empires when you first start. Put that in your stash tab, and then open up your second character and chuck that on your second character, and then delete that first character. Really simple stuff. And then basically from there, you're pretty much just going to be targeting like a 6-link piece of body armor. And then, you know, realistically you want an armor-based piece of body armor, like unless you really want to go down the route of going low life or something like that, which is generally how you play. The Vortex Occultist in particular with this type of event, but you need shavs and all that sort of stuff, and it's really expensive. So this is just going to get you started on the first day. We have 7 days, so we can farm all that other stuff. And then beyond that, you're going to get just some armor-based gloves, max out your stats where you can, so health, regeneration rate if you can get it, all resistances, dot, where you can get it. Same with boots, movement speed, regeneration rate, or life regeneration per second, max life, armor, and resistances. Now, I do have an All's Uprising in this build. Like, inevitably, we're playing fucking Delve, so anyone who's got an issue with that, you can take it up with the fact that in the last Delve event, everyone was running Alls, and you can just farm Crystal Kings for that. I've already put a video up on how to do that. They spawn at 181. They're relatively easy. If you go horizontal for a bit, it's very likely you're going to get a Crystal King, because we're only going to be playing Delve. That's going to drop the roll that you want, whether that be a Determination or a Malevolence or a Hatred, take your pick. You could switch out Malevolence for a Hatred roll early up, and that's going to pretty much give you... so you got you got 3 items, 3 chances from doing Crystal King, that an All's Uprising is going to drop all those stats, unless you get like a Patumba's Ring or something like that, and that just means that you're unlucky. Otherwise, just keep farming it until you get it, and then you can push down really easily, which is pretty much a no-brainer. Beyond that, rings, resistances, life, There's not much else to be said. Any chaos res you can get, even better. And then belt, same resistances, chaos res, life, all that sort of shit. Flask, anything that you need. Ideally, you need a granite and a quartz flask and a life flask. You don't really need a quicksilver flask in Delve, so you can switch that out for anything that you want. If you find a Rumi's concoction, even better. This is a max block build. Now, some people are also going to say, oh, Rhyme Gaze, oh, what the fuck, Jorgen, that's a fucking rare item, get over it, just switch it out for whatever. Like, we're just talking about a little bit of a drop in DPS. If you find it, even great, even better. If you got a buddy that finds it, get him to give it to you. If you're running Vortex, it's a really good item to get early on. This is like a low-cost variation of the build to get you started. This isn't like endgame premium, like best build in the world. This is just going to be a really rock-solid build to take down in a Delve. Now, skills-wise, pretty much Vortex. We're going to be running Cruelty for efficacy, Swift Affliction, Control Destruction, and Hypothermia is really important, because if we want to run that refreeze effect, Hypothermia is going to do the trick. Now, if you were to put on Elemental Focus, it's going to give you more damage, but you're going to lose the ability of Vortex being able to freeze enemies, which is what this build basically does best, and it's super effective in Delve because it means you can just run around enemies and they can do fuck all against you, you're good to go. And actually, this is lower than what it should be. It should be 267, which means as you level this up to level 91, you'll get to 350 without leveling everything else up. So it's actually quite powerful for a really low level build to sort of move through Delve and the event with. Now, you're going to be running Cold Snap. Don't worry about the Val Cold Snap. You're going to run Bone Chill, Control Destruction, and Hypothermia on this. Determination. Now, because you can get the rings that have corruptions on hit, or sorry, not corruptions, hex on hit, curse on hit, whatever it is now. The way that you go, and you need that for the occultist to proc Profane Bloom, you can get those rings from the elemental nodes in the Delve event. So they're really quite frequently dropped down in Delve. Just look out for them. So if you see like a fire node, or like in this case, a cold node has a little frost symbol, a snowflake symbol, hit those nodes, they're most likely going to drop a ring that does frostbite on hit or something like that on the ring. And Bob's your uncle, you can get rid of this setup and then you can use it for hatred or something. This is just to get you started, so, you know. Vitality, obviously, to level 15 because we don't have enough total mana pool for that. Malevolence, and I've got this at level 18, like these are really low levels too, so bearing that in mind. And obviously with the All's Uprising, that has no cost, so that's why we want an All's Uprising, so we can run more auras earlier. Molten Shell with cast and damage taken is a max block character, so if you take damage you'll proc more armor and that's going to keep you alive. I do have Arctic Armor for taking down bosses, so you could switch this out for Defiance Banner if you wanted to. And that's going to give you another 2,000 to 3,000 armor, and it's also going to give you more unreserved mana, which you can do with whatever you want to do with. At the end of the day, it's up to you. With this build, you do need to run Frost Bomb. I would run, what was it called? Spell Cascade? But think for a second there. And the reason why is you want that negative, you want cold exposure, and you want Spell Cascade because basically you just hit like Q, you map them all to Q, W, and E on a boss and you just smash them, or in a column, and it'll just destroy shitloads of enemies and keep everything frozen. I do have Flame Dash here, but I actually prefer Frost Blink. Sorry, I'm making adjustments as I go. The reason why I like Frost Blink is it regenerates as you hit enemies, but it's just really good at continually proccing freeze. And I'm pretty sure that you can actually set a node in the tree here, wherever it might be. Okay, we'll have a play with that. Anyway, yeah, so it's just a really good mobility skill. I prefer it in Delve. I prefer it in general when I'm running Vortex. Some people might disagree. I don't really care. Yeah, that's my setup for that. Anyway, this will be in the description below. So tree-wise, quite simple. I would be focusing straight away on getting up into these cold dot nodes up here, and then working my way down to the block nodes. You may need to cut across here, and then just sort of regret orb those nodes out so you can pick these up in here, and get straight to block early on. and that's going to give you the ability to take more damage. Down in Delve, pretty much with this build, you need block, it's required. As you level up, you're going to change out your shield, you're going to run you're going to run Tempest Shield, so you can max out your spell block again, unless you get a really good spell block on your shield. And then we'll come up in the other direction, pick up Eldritch Battery as we start to get higher up in the levels, and this only goes up to like level 92, so it's not like super crazy. And then we'll pick up Snowforge, Growth and Decay, and then pick up these HP nodes, and then Bob's your uncle. As far as ascendancies go, you'll want to go straight to Void Beacon and Frigid Wake, and then Profane Bloom third. And the reason why you want this is you do want this cannot be chilled, cannot be frozen, and you want to just continually have the ability to freeze enemies around you, and this build just abuses the shit out of that. And then finally Malediction, and then obviously we'll try and get like 2 curse rings if you can. Otherwise run 1 curse ring and the Blasphemy Frostbite Aura, and you'll be able to proc Malediction, which will basically allow you to do even more damage to enemies around you, as you can see here, by about 30,000. Now I do have Infused Flesh, so as you take damage, you get life back as you take it. There will be other builds that don't use this. I played Delve enough to know that this is a really useful node to have, and if you can get it on your rings, absolutely get it. If you can get it on any dual sockets, take it. It just gives you more tankability at the end of the day. Anyway, Pantheons, I don't think we're worried about that. I don't recall you having access to Pantheons, but if you do, Lunaris, absolutely. And Tukahama in Delve, otherwise Aberith to go up against enemies that do Fire Dot. But that's pretty much it for the build that I'm going to be running. So this is my tree, this is what I'm going to be rolling out with from tomorrow night, so we'll be streaming all night tomorrow night. I thought I'd share it because everybody asked, what are you playing? You know, I know everybody has a lot of different builds they want to play. Could you play Righteous Fire? Absolutely. Bone Shatter is going to work. Garantha just put up a really good video for SSF Bone Shatter, which would be super tanky, maybe even considerably more tanky than well, it is considerably more tanky than this, but this is lazier because you just map Vortex to your move button and then you just run around enemies and kill them that way. And I'm feeling pretty lazy at this stage of the game. But yeah, anyway, until next time, like and sub to the video if this helps you. I know I don't have any gameplay here because I played Vortex that many leagues, and if you want to see gameplay, you can pretty much look up a shitload of videos on my channel to note that I have already built some pretty hectic Vortex builds in the past, which I know a lot of people have played. Anyway, until next time, have a good one, and bye.